fruits.
Yep.
The question I would ask from a biblical perspective is, what would constitute good fruit?
Oh, love of neighbor, consider for other people.
No. This is a prophet. We are talking about a prophet. Yeah, it's talking about prophets.
All right.
Yeah.
By their
so
fruits.
how would you? Yes.
If first of all, if the prophecies came true.
If the prophet is being mentioned, you see, it's not prophecy. It's talking about good deeds.
Yeah.
So prophecies are nothing to do with how to define a prophet who came and claimed to be a prophet.
Yeah.
Now, in the context of the Bible, what would constitute good fruit?
Well, the fruits of the Spirit are kindness.
No,
love.
for example, if this gentleman came and claimed to be a prophet,
Yeah.
me and you, Jim.
I wouldn't believe it, would you?
You
With
know-
jeans on.
No, okay, that's a criteria, we can use that. But if me and you were here and we read this, and it's clear, yeah, and we know that in red it means Jesus said it.
Yeah.
He says very clearly, it's by the fruits that you will know them. Now I am saying, if I and you were to judge this gentleman as to whether he's a prophet or not, according to that standard, what
His life.
actions would we? But in the context of the Bible.
What is life? What do you mean?
Okay, I'll tell you what I mean.
His life.
Yeah, okay, let's look at it that way. If he has more than one wife, is that a good fruit?
No.
According to the Bible.
No.
Did Abraham have more than one wife?
Yes.
Okay.
He did.
Did Moses have more than one wife?
Yes.
Was he a prophet?
Yes.
Was that bad fruit?
His good fruit wasn't the fact that he had more than one wife.
That's not the issue.
It is the issue.
No,
it's
sorry.
the issue that you just raised.
No, sorry, Jim. You see, I asked you, and we are just discussing this on the evidence.
Right.
Yeah. By their fruits you will know them.
Right.
Good tree, good fruit. Bad tree, bad fruit.
Correct.
Bad tree cannot have good fruit.
Correct.
Good tree cannot have bad fruit.
All agreed.
Now, question is, and I did say in the context of the Bible, because this is what we have to look at.
Yeah,
we
yes.
can't use third-party information.
No.
In the context of this particular statement, how does the Bible view what is considered to be good fruit? If you and me are not going to
I can
rely...
tell you what the fruit of the Spirit are.
No, before we go there, because this is about a prophet outward actions. Yeah? So the question is, Jim, you ask yourself this. If he has talked about prophets, then I'm only correct in looking at the lives of the previous prophets mentioned in this to determine what good fruits are.
Yes.
Yeah?
You can, yeah.
Not you can. That is the standard.
All right then.
So the question I would ask is, wait a minute, if according to this, good tree, a good tree is a true prophet, and his actions will determine he is good, then logic tells me that the only basis I have to determine whether a prophet is good or his fruit is good is by looking at what the Bible
So
contains.
what are these fruits then? You
No,
tell me.
I'm asking you now.
No, but I'm going to ask you.
Okay,
'cause
no
you said you
problem.
have the answer.
No. I'm
come
discussing
on.
with you. I told
No.
you, Jim. Yeah, the question is this: if Jesus Christ has said here, because you know what you said about the Spirit, that is also addressed by Jesus. Yeah, and we'll go to that. But just for the few minutes we have here, he tells you a good tree cannot bear bad fruit.
Right, we're all agreed on that.
So we agree. So every prophet mentioned in the Bible, whatever actions they undertook, were they good fruit?
I don't know.
It's a
I'll have to go
logical
back and have a
question.
look. I'm sure they weren't all.
Okay, there's a problem then. Because according to what he says here, a good tree cannot bear bad fruit. Now either we are going to dismiss them to be prophets.
All right then, go on. Go to the prophets.
No, I'm saying, look, we know one of them,
That's
don't
the Bible.
we?
You go and show me
No,
what you
we
mean.
know. Like I said, Abraham, he had more than one wife, didn't he?
So that's a good fruit.
No, I'm asking you, according to this standard, if we look at all the prophets prior, like for example Moses, he killed people, didn't he?
He certainly did.
He did. Now,
Was that good?
I'm asking.
No,
I was about
God
to
didn't
ask.
think that was good.
No.
He was judged for
Question is, if he is going to undertake something according to
He
this
wasn't allowed to
standard,
go back into the land
that's fine, Jim. But
because he killed a man.
that's fine. But according to this,
David wasn't allowed to build a temple because he'd killed somebody and committed adultery.
I can agree with that, Jim. But the question then is a problem, Because according to that
So a
verse,
prophet doesn't always bear good fruits.
Then-
a prophet sometimes bears bad fruits.
but then we have a big problem.
No, you
Did
don't.
Jesus not get it
Because
right?
prophets are just prophets.
No, no, no. Look at the verse again. Yeah. Beware of.
False prophets. That doesn't mean that they're false because
No,
they
no,
make
no.
a
I'm
mistake.
not saying that. What I am saying is, look, let's see what Jesus has to say. Me and you can, we can come out with all sorts. But what is he saying? As an example, beware of false prophets. So now the question is this: if a false prophet is going to do things, will they be good?
Say that again. If a prophet's going to do good things,
If a false prophet does works according to him, would they be good? The answer is no.
no.
They can't be, can they? So the question then therefore is this: that if Moses undertook certain things, if David undertook certain things, if Abraham undertook certain things, according to this standard, were they good?
They were both good and bad.
There's a problem here. Me and you are personally saying they were bad.
No.
Okay, tell me.
No, I'm just saying that they were human. A prophet is still human. A prophet
Okay.
isn't God.
Okay, according to Jesus here, the verse again, very quickly, apologies, we are at Ezekiel. Just going back to Matthew, okay? The question is this. Yeah, we are on 7. Yeah? We just disappeared. Aha, there we are. 7. Yeah? Look, here's a question we have to ask. Yeah, Jim? Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves.
Yeah.
You will know them by their
fruits.
Now, when he says by their fruits, is he obviously not talking about literal trees and fruits?
No, it's
he's talking
their
about the
actions.
actions.
Yeah, they're
Now,
nice.
but the issue here is this: when he says prophets, he's talking about normal human beings, isn't he? He's not talking about God.
No.
He's talking about humans.
Yep.
So that is excluded.
Yeah.
The question is, when he says, beware of false prophets, and then he goes on to give you the standard, every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. But before that, he says a good tree cannot bear bad fruit. So logic will dictate to us, Jim, that whatever the prophets mentioned in the Bible did could not have been bad.
You see,
Is that logical?
you see, you're losing your logic again. You're going back to this old thing.
How?
And the reason I'm going to logic.
Sure,
I'm
please.
going to do this and I'm going to pick that.
No, I'm not doing that. Honestly, look.
You are.
No,
You are.
I'll tell you why, Jim. I do apologize.
You've got to take that whole chapter
Agreed.
into context.
Agreed.
What
That's
was
why.
the overall picture he was saying?
Agreed. Jim, if you notice, I started in chapter 7, verse 1. Yeah, where it says, judge not that you be not judged, for with judgment you pronounce you shall be judged. Now he goes progressively, the question still remains. When he said, every good tree will bear good fruit. False prophets are going to be determined by their fruits.
Right,
So the question.
So what are
Now-
you trying to? What's the point you really?
Well,
getting to?
I'll tell you honestly, Jim, genuinely from the start I told you, what we need to do is look at the evidence, the way the evidence is, and assess it. What I believe, I want to keep separate. So when I say to you, Jim, according to Jesus, when he says, according to this verse,
Yeah.
beware of false prophets who outwardly are like sheep, but inwardly are ravenous wolves.
Yeah.
He then proceeds to tell you that the prophets are going to be determined by the fruits. Do grapes gather from thorns and figs from thistles?
What
A
do you mean? What
good
do you mean
tree.
by that?
This is what I was going to ask you. If a good tree is going to bear good fruit, hello. Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing? Yeah. If apologies about that. If a good tree is going to bear good fruit, Jim. Yeah. I never noticed, honestly. Yeah. When he says, okay, good fruit, good prophet, not false, true prophet. Bad fruit, false prophet, not true prophet. Now, when he is saying that, what I am saying to you, Jim, and I think logically it is the appropriate thing to do, is that the only way we can determine what Jesus means in terms of a true prophet is by looking at what the previous prophets in the Bible did. Because if I were to say, let's look at the prophets in the Gita, you would logically and rightfully say, no, 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 sorry, that's not what he means. I'm looking at the Bible. Now, in the Bible, from Genesis to Matthew or to Zechariah, is telling us the good fruit that Jesus Christ mentions logically would mean that the prophets of the former times, whatever they did, logically would mean that they were good fruit. They can't have been bad fruit.
He didn't actually say that. He didn't actually say, look at the previous prophets.
No, no, you're right.
He was
I'm
talking
saying
about in his time.
No,
the time that he lived.
agreed. But you see, Jim, the question is this. If we listen to the verse, it says, beware of false prophets. Now, what does a false prophet do? Does he call you to God? No. Does he do good deeds according to the verse? No.
A false prophet would call you to his God, which is a false God, of course.
That's fine. But then here is the standard. You see, then a true prophet we can only determine by what the true prophets did in the Bible. So the question therefore then arises is this, that when Abraham had 3 wives, was that a good deed? Well, the answer is yes. That was a mark of a true prophet. If Moses had more than 1 wife, was that a good deed? According to this standard, the answer is yes. Now the problem then arises this.
That's twisting the scripture.
Sorry?
With all respect, that is not...
Please tell me how I'm twisting it.
It is.
Tell me how.
You're misusing one scripture as against another. Jesus never said, look at the previous prophets.
No, Jim, I agree with you. I would agree with you, but for one thing. You see, if I were to ask you, Jesus Christ says, by their fruits you shall know them. Now, the question I would ask is this, logically speaking, if I wanted to determine what are good fruits of a prophet, where should I look?
Well, what are good fruits? You tell me what good
That's
fruits
the first question I had asked. I said, how will we know what good fruits are? Then logically speaking, very easy. Then logically speaking, according to the Bible, I only need to look at the actions that the true prophets in the Old Testament undertook.
No.
Why? Are they not true?
We just agreed that Jesus wasn't talking about the previous prophets. He was just saying, beware of false prophets.
No, I agree.
He wasn't making any reference to the prophets.
I agree, Jim, but what I'm saying...
So therefore, you can't use that and say because Moses had 3 wives or Abraham had 3 wives, that must be the thing.
No, respectfully, Jim, I'll tell you why you can. I will tell you why. Matthew 7 tells us, beware of false prophets. Now, I did ask these relevant questions. He says, do grapes gather from thorns, figs from thistles? Every good tree will bear good fruit. Every evil tree will bear evil fruit. A good tree will not bear bad fruit.
Should we talk about fruit then?
Absolutely. Bad fruits, one second, bad fruits will not, bad trees will not give you good fruits. By their fruits you shall know them. Now you will notice that at the start of the conversation we agreed that what it means by fruits is the actions of the individual who claims to be a prophet.
The lives.
Yeah, we know that. Now the question therefore, Jim, is this. As I said, if this is what he has said, then logically speaking, I should be able to look within the pages of the Bible, look at the people who claim to be prophets.
So you see, you're going back.
If I can just finish, I know, Jim. If I can just finish, you see, why am I saying that my view of how I'm looking at this seems to be more consistent with the Bible is this reason. Jesus Christ, according to that verse, tells you, beware of false prophets. Now, if I were to ask you, okay, what did Jesus say defines a false prophet? What would you say?
They're bad fruits.
Okay. What defines a good prophet? A true prophet?
They're good fruits.
Sorry? A true prophet.
They're good fruits.
Okay. Now, if I were to take that statement, you rightfully said, you rightfully said, any prophet contained in the Bible is a true prophet. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. If he is a true prophet, then necessarily any of the actions undertaken by that prophet are good fruit. Now,
No.
the logic is being flawed here.
Well,
How have you come to know it isn't?
Well, however you put it, that's why you can't do things logically.
No, Jim.
You
Jim.
can't. You can't do
Jim.
it like that.
Okay, let's take it on faith.
Yeah.
Since you don't want to proceed with the evidence, let's take it on faith. If I were to tell you, he says, good trees are good prophets, true prophets rather. Good trees are true prophets. Bad trees are false prophets. No problem. Now, I am then left to consider this on the basis of what is contained in this book. We agree with that, don't we? Yeah. Now, it is very logical as far as I'm seeing.
This book is not about good and bad people. This is about people who have got weaknesses. Moses was a prophet.
Yes.
David was a prophet.
Yeah.
They both killed people.
Yes. But Jim,
Bad fruit.
Jim,
Bad
you,
fruit.
no, wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. Can I tell you why you're wrong? You see, Jim, you're absolutely right when you say it is about people. But you will notice Jesus Christ made a very clear distinction. He said, false prophets. Now, not every human being is a prophet.
Moses.
But the claimant.
Moses, the greatest prophet, killed a man.
Well, the question is this.
So was he? Was that good? Was that good fruit?
Well, the question I'm asking you that if
No,
Jesus.
that's what I'm saying. That thing about going back to Matthew.
Yeah.
Not all prophets are going to be perfect. No, in fact, none of them are perfect.
But he doesn't say that. He doesn't talk about perfection, does he?
Yeah.
He is.
He's talking about future prophets, not the past. He's not referring to David. He's not making reference to Moses and David.
Jim,
and
I said that at the start. I said, look, now if I want to look at a person who is coming ahead of
I
Jesus.
know that you said that.
Yeah, now I'm asking you, well, if I have to do that, on what basis can I determine what good fruit was of previous prophets? How can I do it?
By studying them, looking at them.
Exactly. So now if I study Moses and I notice that he had 3 wives, is that a good fruit?
No, I've just explained that. He killed a man also. He's human. We're talking.
But
this
here's
is
the
about
problem.
human beings. This isn't about mythical people.
Jim.
This is about people who are sinners.
Jim, you know when he killed the person.
Everybody
no.
in that book
Jim,
apart from Jesus
you
is
see,
a sinner.
can I explain this to you? You know when he killed a man,
Yeah.
was there a law that said he couldn't?
Whether there was a law.
No, I didn't ask you that.
No,
Was there a
I'll
law?
answer it like this:
Go
whether
ahead.
there was a law that said he couldn't or he could, he in his heart he knew that was wrong.
Okay.
That's why he was ashamed.
Okay.
That's why he wasn't allowed to go into the promised
Okay,
land.
but here is the problem, Jim, with what you just said, and I agree with you. You see, if
Keep agreeing with each
I'll
other.
tell-
Come on, boys, come over here.
Jim, I tell you what, if the Creator gave you permission,
Yeah,
to kill someone,
he wouldn't.
well, one second, I'm just asking you.
Because his nature, you'd be going against his nature.
Who would?
Against God's nature.
Right, excellent.
He's a creator.
Excellent. Okay, so the question then therefore lies on what the law says. I'll tell you why.
Which
because
law?
you see,
Moses' law.
it's not about Moses' law, it's about God's law. Yes? Is God's law eternal?
God's law is eternal, and it was actually the law was expanded when Jesus came.
Excellent.
He
Excellent.
said, if you look on a woman with lust, you've committed adultery.
Excellent.
Because he knows the heart.
Excellent, Jim. But you agree that the law is eternal.
Of course.
So when God ordered, when God talked about the killings that were permitted, for example, in the book of Deuteronomy, we have many laws where it says, you know what, if the woman assists her husband, chop her hand. If X happens, kill them.
Horrible.
Was that God saying it?
Yes.
Did he
But there
permit
was
the
a
killing of
different-
people?
You're talking about it.
No, Jim, follow me through. Is it because the law required it?
Yes.
So if there was no law,
Going round in circles.
no,
I know we are.
no, Jim.
We are.
If there was no law prohibiting an action, was it illegal?
Yes.
How?
If there was a law prohibiting.
There was no law.
No law.
No law. It can't
Yes.
be illegal, can it?
Hold on. Before Moses' law was given, before the law was given at Mount Sinai, before that, the law was engraved in a man's heart.
Right.
How did Adam and Eve know they were sinners?
Right, 1 second. Now
we're getting to
that's
something.
perfect. Then, like I told you, we will go to the what I call spiritual element after.
It's the only one.
Right. So we know that according to the fruits element, we are going to have to agree to disagree.
The fruits of the spirit, you mean?
No, the fruits according to true prophet. Yeah. Because according to that, it's very clear that whatever the prophets did in the Old Testament would be considered to be good fruit. Otherwise, it would not make sense. But let's go to the spiritual element, Jim.
No, go on.
Let's go to the spiritual.
I've explained that David, Moses, and the neighbor were all sinners. They all did bad things.
That's your view.
It's in the Bible. It's recorded.
Well, if that is the case, no, Jim.
Recorded. David committed adultery and he had the bloke killed so he could have his wife.
I agree with you. But that means
wonderful David.
But that means that
who wrote all those psalms.
True, but that means the criteria that Christ gave is flawed.
No. You've missed.
Okay, let's move forward.
No, we're not going to go back on that one.
No, we're not. Let's go to the spiritual one. You see, I would suggest this. You know what I said, Jim, about the evidence? If we look at the evidence...
Let me just stop there, hold it there, switch it off a minute. Just making sure
go, your lift. Please, go.
No, it's not, you won't be going now.
No, I understand. Just go and have a look.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, go there first, Jim.
Otherwise
That's more... That's more important. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah. I've been to my country.
All right, is it?
I keep looking at you.
Is it? Alhamdulillah.
Whatever you did.
Still always update.
Many people knows you.
Really? Alhamdulillah. That's good.
I've been listening to you talk to that gentleman, but
Sorry?
there seems to be a fundamental flaw. I'm not sure where you're coming from, of your definition of a prophet. Your definition of a prophet is a person who has he's perfect, he doesn't do anything wrong. That's your definition.
My name is Shabir, brother. You are?
My name is unimportant. I could tell you I'm John Smith. It doesn't really matter.
I will accept what you say. I will accept whatever you say.
My name is Harry II.
Nice meeting you, sir. Right, sorry, what were you saying?
I don't understand where you're coming from. Is your definition of a prophet a person who's never done or done anything wrong or anything? That's your definition
Right.
of a prophet?
No. I, with my Christian brother,
Yes.
was discussing... Sorry?
Are you a Christian?
No, I'm a Muslim.
Okay.
I was discussing with him the verse in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 7 where it talks about how to determine what a true prophet is.
And the question of fruits, yes.
Yeah. So
But that's a metaphor, really. You know.
that's true. You're right. But the metaphor is about good works.
Right.
Yeah. Now the question I was asking, and I'm still asking, is if Jesus Christ says there, beware of false prophets who outwardly are like sheep but inwardly are ravenous wolves.
Right.
He then tells you how to determine the difference between a true prophet and a false one.
Well,
Yeah.
what is that?
So,
how do you determine a true prophet?
did you find him, Jim?
I'll have to go early today.
Have you found him?
Give me a time check at 3:30. I'll have to shoot off then because he's not here. So I'll have to get the bus.
10 to 3.
10.
You're joking.
No, he'll give me the train ticket. He'll give me the train ticket.
No problem, we'll give you a train ticket. Do you need
only
one?
joking.
No
I'm only
problem,
joking.
Jim.
I'm
Most
only
welcome.
joking. No.
You're a friend.
I know.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, he just asked about what my concern was about the verse. So I'm just for a few minutes telling you.
Oh, yeah.
So we were basically talking about the verse. If Jesus, according to Matthew 7, tells you how to determine the difference between a true prophet and a false one, then logically speaking, that is the standard we should use. That's what I was saying. Now, I also was saying that, look, if we have a true prophet, these are the standards. If you are a false prophet, these are the standards. Yeah? I was saying to Jim, if I look at the previous prophets and their actions in the Bible, were they good fruit or bad fruit?
Well, I suppose you look at the prophet you're looking at. Some did bad things, some did good things. I mean, what does a prophet really do? What is his job? How does he become a prophet? These are the questions one must ask.
No, the question then therefore becomes, if Jesus says this is the criteria for good fruit. Wouldn't that be true?
Yeah, when you're talking about good fruits and bad fruits, using this metaphor, you're talking about deeds. Fruits is a metaphor for deeds.
Good
right?
deeds.
Good. Fruits is the metaphor for deeds.
Good deeds.
Good deeds are bad.
Correct.
Okay, so prophets have done good things. I'm not a Christian.
No, that's fine. We are just discussing.
There are prophets in the Old Testament that have done good things. They prophesied, and some of them did bad things.
Okay.
So were they good prophets or bad prophets?
The problem here is with what the verse actually says. The verse says, a good tree will not bear bad fruit.
I know, but
bad,
you keep
one second.
that like a stuck record.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
He wasn't just talking about
I'll tell you why.
He was talking about
A bad
people in general. Jesus.
A bad fruit. No. It's talking about a prophet. It tells you there. Yeah. It says a bad tree will not bear good fruit. Now, if you look at the wording of the sentences, they are clear. There isn't but. There isn't. It's clear. A good tree, good fruit. Bad tree, bad fruit. But the issue is not that. The issue is a very logical one. That if Jesus Christ, according to this, gave you a standard wherewith to judge the authenticity or the truthfulness of a prophet, yeah, then I am saying, look, it is a standard that is an absolute standard. And if that is the case, then logically speaking, all the claimants to prophethood in the Old Testament would have necessarily done good deeds.
So they would not have.
Agree?
So they would, according to you, they would not have done bad things.
No, not according to me. As I was telling Jim, it's according to what the evidence says.
To your interpretation.
No. Like I said, look, according to the evidence.
Let's be fair.
I'm being fair. According to the evidence, a true prophet will only have good deeds.
No, Jesus didn't say that.
What did he say?
He said they will have good deeds. They will have good deeds.
Okay, let's work this again. You see why I was repeating it. A good tree will not bear evil fruit. What does that mean?
The point, I think.
No, just explain to me first. What does that mean?
I'll tell you. Let us stick to deeds, what people do. Forget the metaphor about fruit. Let's just stick to deeds.
Okay.
Prophets have done good things and they have done bad things.
Who says that? Who says that?
I'm not talking about what has happened. No matter who said what.
The difference here, Jim, brother, the difference here is that you are working on speculation, I'm working on evidence.
No, but
I'm saying...
No, there is evidence.
There is.
David sent a bloke away so they could have sex with his wife and he would die at the front line.
Yeah.
Now, he was a prophet. That wasn't a good thing. Right?
Now, if I were to turn this around and say, Jim, is there a possibility...
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Rest.
Shouldn't do that. My wife's all wrong about that.
No, don't worry. The issue is not that. The issue is this. If Jesus Christ, according to this particular statement, says how to judge a true prophet, all I am saying is, wait a minute, if this is the standard of how to judge a prophet, then logic dictates that
there will be no prophet.
No, you're wrong. According to that, logic dictates that whatever actions that were undertaken by people who were confirmed as true prophets by Christ himself about Moses, and Abraham, our father, well then necessarily whatever they undertook, whatever they did, were good deeds.
No.
There's a problem.
Even though they killed somebody.
No, here's the issue. We address that. You see,
even though they killed somebody.
If I were to say that the Creator has given permission to the prophet to kill, is that all right?
But
He wouldn't do that.
But he did.
It's contrary to God's nature.
No, but he did.
Yeah, so
in the laws, he did.
Yeah, so
did he not?
What you're saying is that God and the devil is one and the same.
No, that's what you are saying.
No.
I'm not.
Because you are saying God told him to do bad things.
No, wrong. You see, brother, you have misunderstood totally.
No.
The verse says...
We're going round in circles here, you know that.
Not at all, Jim. All we are saying is, look, and I agreed with you, let's agree to disagree. The evidence is contrary to what we are believing. Yeah. So, the evidence should take precedence. We can agree with that. Yeah? But now, if we move to that spiritual element very quickly, or do you need to go?
Soon. I'll give him another half hour and then I must go because if this major boy...
Okay, it's been a pleasure, Jim. An absolute pleasure. Look, if I have said anything on tour, please do.
Maybe I'll send the invoice. You can send it to me.
Invoice?
He'll send it to me.
£10 an hour, son.
Absolutely. It was an absolute pleasure, Jim. And do forgive me for anything on tour. That was not the intention at all.
That was good.
Look after yourself.
Good.
We come usually every 4 weeks. Please, it'll be a pleasure again to have a discussion.
Well, maybe in 4 weeks anyway. What's your
Thank
name?
you very much, sir.
Are we on YouTube then tonight?
Shabir.
Tonight, it's going to be a while.
You will be there. Don't worry.
I keep checking over
6 days a week.
How long is it on YouTube? 3 minutes. That's 30 pounds. Where do I live?
Jim, email address is here. Yeah, if ever you need. That's our channel on no spaces. Yeah. Have a look at it.
I will.
And it was a pleasure. Look after yourself. Okay. God bless. Right, come on. Can I just take some water?
There's a guy, काला है याद है आपने उसको ड्रॉप किए थे वो जंपिंग अबाउट करता था और फिर टॉयलेट के लिए गया था.
My God, that was many years.
Yes, वो ही है अभी.
Alhamdulillah, how are you? You okay? Good. Should I smile? Alaikum salam, how are you? Alhamdulillah, you okay? Yeah? Really? Wallah. Oh, Jazakallah, brother. They came stretch. Jazakallah, brother. Keep supporting us, inshallah. We want to increase everything now. Jazakallah, brother. Jazakallah, inshallah. Look after yourself. Okay, salam alaikum.
Yeah, well, do you remember him? He's talking about Aisha.
1 second.
Aisha,
Oh, my
Aisha's date of birth. Are you ready to tackle it?
No. Aisha's no.
What
is the other one? No. It is very sensitive right now. I have got most of the formulation. We'll discuss it and then we'll bring it here. Yeah?
You'll have to be quick before he gets here. Come on, hurry it up.
You can't eat fast. The stomach will ache. Alhamdulillah, this one was excellent. Do you know that?
The guy didn't know what he did.
No, alhamdulillah.
Stay in from, don't talk to me. Eat.